Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of the Gorilla's Kitchen. I got something great for you. We're hopping across the ocean a little bit. We're popping over to Germany. We're gonna have some Schnitzel here today, and we're doing it keto style. How's that sound? It's great. So it's gonna be fantastic. I got a wonderful special drink for you, and we'll be back in just a minute. Good, I got something to fix that. We got something. So today, we always gotta ask the question.
What's the gorilla cooking?
Schnitzel, baby. I don't really know how to say that in German. I think that's the part of the baby, I don't know. It would sound angry no matter what. But I've got some Schnitzel for you, and we're doing it keto style, and it's gonna be fantastic. We've got some German green beans for you, a little sweet and sour action going on. Some bacon, everybody loves bacon. This is another keto edition of the show because that's where things are heading for us personally. So we're gonna share all that with you guys. Now Schnitzel, a lot of people ask that's breaded, right? But guess what? We've got almond flour and Parmesan cheese for that breading. So we got cheese, we got bacon, we got pork. I don't know what else we really need in the world. Oh, I know what we need. We need a cocktail. So here's the deal. I'm making a special drink for you guys here today. And the Germans, strangely enough, are not big on mixed drinks. They're real big on beer and schnapps. You can mix those two, I suppose. But not big on the craft cocktail side of things. But I found a few things that I like, and we're going to explore one of them today. And it is a brandy sour. Ooh. And I happened to search high and low, and I was actually able to find a fantastic Asbach. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Asbach. Gotta say with German love, you know. It's a 3-year-old brandy, and apparently that goes all the way up to 15 or 20 years or whatever they can tolerate before they can drink it. And but yeah, we're gonna be mixing this with a little soda, and it's typically done with a simple syrup, but we're not doing that. We're actually gonna use the monk fruit sweetener since we're going the keto angle. So we're gonna muddle that together and mix it up, and we're gonna add in our brandy and a little bit of seltzer water and a lemon. So we're gonna make that a sour. So we're gonna get all these things going for you guys. Oil's going. We have, of course, Dave, let's show them what we did real quick on our prep for our Schnitzel. So hey guys, I wanna talk to you about what we're making today. And it's gonna be really simple. I'm a big fan of keto, and it's a great way to go. It's very popular right now, I understand that, but for the health benefits, it's really working out for me, and it has for millions of other people. But you don't want to sacrifice a lot of the meals and a lot of the things that we really truly enjoy. Now, one of my big goals this year is to sort of take you, my audience, around the world and to look at different foods and different cultures and bring them here and teach you guys simple ways to make those recipes. Because I'm really curious too. So we're going to learn together. We're going to have a lot of fun. But today we're going to pop over to Germany. We did get to spend some time in Munich once. It was really, very nice. And one of the things I really liked there was Schnitzel. Now, typically it's a nice pounded pork loin, but it's nice and thin like we've done here today. But it's typically a regular, like a flour breading. Obviously that's not gonna fly on the keto side of things. So today we've decided to do it with our almond flour, which of course you can get it in bulk at Costco like we do all the time. And also what we're gonna add is Parmesan cheese. Now this is one of my favorites. This is Parmesan Romano. It's actually gonna work out really well. You say, is that flavor German? Well, here's really the deal. Munich, very close to Italy, not that far off. There's a lot of Italian influence that creeps into German food and vice versa. So yes, to answer that question, it's going to be fantastic. We've got our almond flour right here. I'm actually going to add, this is roughly about 2.5, maybe probably about 2.5 cups or so. Honestly, just go with what it's going to take to cover your own pork loins. And I've got our Parmesan Romano cheese. I'm going to dump that in, and we're going to mix this stuff up together and make sure it's nice and fine. Now, we're going to add in some seasonings to this. Of course, seasonings, when you're taking a trip into Flavor Town, of course, you got to do your own thing. For me, of course, we're going to go with our standard, with our what I call our holy trinity, which is salt, pepper, garlic, which should be in most meals in my opinion. But I like the flavors to be a little more robust, and I'm going to add in a little smoked paprika here. We're going to throw in a little white pepper for a little extra heat, a little extra zip, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of chopped chives. Not only is it a nice color contrast, but it adds a nice flavor in the aromatic side. So hang tight with us. I'm going to put these things together, and we'll get the stuff going. Now, your egg wash, it's pretty simple stuff. Instead of egg and milk, it's actually egg and mustard. So So that's part of where the German influence comes into. We're actually using a sweet hot mustard. You can find this a lot of different stores. There's several ones around, but I love this one because the carb content on this, you're only looking at 2 carbs in this thing for 2 tablespoons. Now, we're not going to be using a lot, but it's going to be enough to add flavor to the egg. So no milk, adding mustard instead. We're going to mix in our mustard. Sometimes you got to do that. Not really being precise here in our measurement. I just know it's going to go a long way. Gonna get our so we're breading. We're going to drop in a little bit of our white pepper. Now you've got a lot of mix here, so don't worry about adding a lot of flavor. It'll all get in. That looks pretty good. Love our black pepper. Our smoked paprika. This is just one of my favorite flavors, guys. This is not a mandatory thing, nor is it a part of many of the recipes you'll find out there, but I'd really like you to try it. It'll actually pick up the flavor for you. Smells fantastic. It'll look really good. Now what you'll see as our audience gets here, we're actually going to be doing all of this together at that point. We'll be going ahead and frying them because I want them nice and hot and fresh. With your schnitzel, one of the things to garnish them with, sometimes in, of course, German standards, you're going to find gravy. Not really this way. We're actually going to give it a little bit of a squeeze of lemon, and it really changes the flavor profile. It's super delicious. But the way we're going to do them, we've got them pounded thin. We're going to run them through. We're going to get them through our egg wash, into the breading, and we're going to let them sit here in our pan. We're going to pop them in the fridge. The best thing for you to do, realistically, is let them sit for about 30 minutes to maybe an hour, whatever it is. Get them in the fridge. Let them chill. The reason being is that the breading will actually stick to them a lot better, and then when you actually fry them, you won't lose as much of it in your skillet. And that's about it. So we're going to get this stuff, and as you guys watch, we'll go ahead and get them onto our pan and prepped and ready to go. So what I'm doing, we're going to do our last 2 together. And as you'll see, what I've done is done a little more tenderizing here. Now, the reason being is that meat is, of course, a muscle. And what happens is it actually contracts towards the middle. So we've gone ahead and pounded this thin. You really want to get them to about a ½ inch thick for them to come out exactly right. So I'm going to pop it down here in our little egg and mustard dredge. Perfect amount. Now, I used 4 eggs with this, and it's actually turning out to be just the right amount. You might want to, depending on what level or what thickness of breading that you want on this, you may want to use what I mentioned, maybe a cup to maybe 2 cups of the almond flour. The consistency is really up to you. Guys, cooking is an adventure, and you have to decide what it is that you like. If we all just followed recipes all the time, I don't think anybody would ever create or invent anything new. So be creative, be courageous in the kitchen, figure out what you like, and what textures work for you. Now, I want to make sure that these things are breaded nice and consistently, because as I mentioned, sometimes in the fryer they have a tendency to fall off a little bit. We're going to make sure we have plenty. I'll show you guys what we have done here in the pan in just a second. Now, one of the other things too is we let some of the egg mixture, let it drop off. You don't want it super heavy. That will also make your breading slide off too. So pull some of that off. Looks beautiful. For those of you out there who have sensory issues, like me a little bit, this feeling of goop on your fingers is not really fun. Or maybe it is fun, who knows. But for me, it makes me twitchy. But it all turns out worthwhile. Now that we have these all done, breading is completed. So if we can see this in here, we have 6 beautiful pork loins. Now, guys, I actually got these from Sprouts, in case you're wondering where I got the pork loins from. These are fantastic. They're beautiful and nice marbling in them. That's going to turn out really delicious. Trust me, gave them a test run last night and it turned out really well. So I've got them here. We're going to pop them into the fridge, give it at least 30 minutes to maybe an hour before our guests arrive. And we want this the breading to set in so it won't release into the oil. So, as you guys saw from our prep here, here's what we've got. Now it's been chilled. We're going to be popping this into the fryer, and it's going to come out pretty delicious. Woo! I'm going to set this off to the side. We're going to start making our drink. Yeah, it smells pretty good. Yeah. Sorry you guys at home can't smell this, but hopefully we can see that in the video. Are we in frame, Dave? In the prep zone? Looking good. That's what we need to hear. Looking good. I may not be, but this is. So it works.
We need to get that scratch and sniff.
Yeah, internet scratch and sniff, I'd rather not. There's a lot of things out there on the interwebs I don't want to smell. So I'm fine being at home while it is wherever it is. So, yeah, we're good. We're all good over here. If you guys really want to smell, come to an episode. When you're in town, when you're here, hit us up and you can come and sit here. Then you can smell this stuff and leave all the other stinky whatnot wherever you came from. So... But that's about it. No offense, probably. Yeah, we're going to get on to our drink. Everybody thirsty? Woo! All right. We're going to make these. Now, typically we would be making a craft cocktail from products from our friends here, our friends and sponsor at Oso Brewery Distillery. Woo! So we would typically be using their stuff, and who knows, maybe we'll get there anyway. But this time we're going to have this drink to just go along with our theme. But they have a lot of fantastic products. You guys will see in one of our episodes, we did a great tour at the distillery, so you guys get to learn how vodka and gin and rum and everything is made. Very informative, and it was a lot of fun being there. So we're very happy to have our relationship with these guys. They're fantastic and local Arizona guys, and we support them. They support us, and it's a beautiful relationship. So I'm going to get into our drink. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're making our drinks here. Now what we've done is I've combined a little bit of the monk fruit sweetener because it's 0 carb down here with our brandy. And we just need to mix it around a little bit to kind of break up the sugars. And we're going to add in our seltzer water now with all of these. And then I'll make mine from the beginning here. And we will garnish accordingly. It's actually quite simple with these. So what we want to do always, you want to take it, you want to rim your glass a little bit. And we'll give it a little squeeze and drop. There we go.
And this is German brandy?
Yep, German brandy. Now, this will be new for me as well. So we're learning together today.
Woo!
All right.
Do the Germans rim their glasses?
Just always, they should, you know what?
They do.
I don't know what the Germans are rimming these days, but I do know that it should always be done with your glass. That's all I'm saying.
They thought they were going to rim the Americans.
I don't know how that started out, but we ended up there. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get these out to the ladies first.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
Check these puppies out. Now, here we go. Here's mine. So we're just going to add, we're going to call it a teaspoon of the monk fruit sweetener. We'll go with an ounce or so. So, hey. Not a professional bartender if you couldn't tell. But I like to explore, I like to have fun with these things. You can break down a little bit.
Does the monk fruit, the monk sweetener dissolve faster?
Not quite. It's basically like a granulated sugar, like a 1-for-1. So you do have to muddle it a little bit. You'll see a little bit at the glass, but it'll take quite some time. But yeah, you could get it to dissolve if you want to spend the time with it. So just rim the glass here, a little bit of a squeeze. And here we go. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers!
Prost.
Prost. Perfect.
Prost.
That's
Oh,
nice.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Very, very good.
I like it. The gorilla approves.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But when do I approve of alcohol? I don't know. But yeah, perfect. So everybody will enjoy their drinks. We're gonna go ahead and now Schnitzel. By the way, some folks do it with chicken. Tim actually asked me, "What is that?" That is pork. That is a pork loin. They were about yay big around, and probably about 3-ounce pieces, and we've pounded them nice and thin out to about a 1/2 inch for each one of them. They'll look a lot thicker because there's a lot of breading, a lot of goodness. Now let's talk about our breading just real quick. Almond flour is our choice when we're sticking and trying to be keto compliant. Now with this, what do we find out that regular flour has 73 grams of carbs for 1 cup. And this is, we're looking at a total of 10. Yeah, 10 per cup with something like this. So almond flour is the way to go. Now cheese, 0 carbs. So there we go.
Zero calories.
So what if,
0 calories, 0 fats.
At all.
You know.
so what if you wanted to change out the almond flour with coconut?
So coconut flour is a little more powdery, and it's not going to adhere to things very well. It is good in some baking recipes as well to add as a substitute for regular flour, but I wouldn't recommend it for a breading substitute at all. Now, for folks who want to go, who aren't really concerned about being keto compliant but want to be gluten free, we actually use Rice Krispies or a rice cereal, and we pulverize that typically with Italian seasonings with basil and oregano and rosemary. We'll throw that into a blender or food processor together with a few cups of Rice Krispies, and it pulverizes down nice and soft, and you're able to bread that really well. The egg dredge, by the way, if you guys didn't get a chance to see this piece, the egg dredge is actually not done with egg and milk. It's actually, for this recipe, it's done with egg and a sweet and spicy German mustard. So some of those flavors should come through on this, but I will let you decide on that and tell me what it is you're experiencing. So we're going to go ahead and get these into the fryer to begin with, and we'll see how this goes.
And what is the breading that's on those?
So it is the almond flour. It is Parmesan Romano here, and we've done salt, pepper, garlic, chives, and actually put in a little bit of smoked paprika because I like the way it smells and adds a nice little flavor to it.
And then you dipped it in the...
Dipped it in the egg dredge straight into the flour mixture. And we'll see. There we go. Kick up our heat a little bit. All right. Now these take a little bit of time, so we're not going to hold our internet family here with us the whole time we do it. We'll be back with these completed beauties for you. But you're looking at about 5 minutes per side for these. All right, it's our last two are going to be done here. We've got the last countdown, the final 5 minutes before this is done. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of our stuff. We've got our German green beans.
What's in those?
What's in those? Green beans, I think. Probably a good start. We've got bacon. We love bacon. We've got a sweet and spicy mustard. We've got a little bit of onion. Woo. We like that. These guys especially love onion. And actually what we did is we added a little, the recipe typically calls for brown sugar, but once again, I actually used about 3 tablespoons of the monk fruit sweetener in there. So that's how those are going, and they are getting nice and tender, super delicious, and those will be ready here in just a moment. But you had a question about an air fryer. Could you do this in an air fryer?
Yes.
Yeah, but that would, where's all the good flavor going to come from? No, I'm kidding. It would be really good. See, the thing about an air fryer too, what's interesting about it, is it circulates the air super quickly. And it has a tendency, if we're not careful with certain things, to just blow them to pieces around inside the, inside the fryer. That won't happen with wings, of course, all that. But when you're adding breading to something like that, you have a chance to accidentally, miss some of that. Now, as my wife was saying, the fathead pizza dough, actually a really good idea to make your crust in there for those, for little personal pizzas. But don't put your toppings on and expect to crisp it up, because all your crap's going to blow against the side, and the inside it's going to be a big, crazy mess, and everything's going to be super crunchy and glued to the wall of it. So probably not a really good idea. But to make the crust itself, it'll be really good. Now these I've got these puppies covered. They're looking pretty good. If you can see those, Dave, we can get in on those here. I'll be plating in just a moment. I do want these other ones to come off. We're gonna let them kind of dry, get a little bit of the grease off of them. But how's everybody's drink doing?
Great.
Fantastic.
It's a nice surprise, isn't it?
Yeah.
New discovery. Very happy about this one.
Light. I thought it would
Just
be
like-
more heavy bodied, but it's
Yeah.
not.
How do
Where-
you
Go ahead.
how do you say green beans?
I don't know.
In German.
In German?
Tim.
Grün or something.
Something angrily. Green beans. Just really comes up.
Braun? Grünbraun?
Grün.
Schnitzel and Grünbraun.
Doesn't sound as appetizing. It's weird anybody eats anything in Germany. That's the way these things are sounding. So Italian, it makes sense. Everything sounds delicious. They could be talking about a toilet brush. Oh, he's so romantic, this guy over here. We got about 3 minutes left. He's be coming out, and we will strain him here for a moment. But let's talk also our friends and our sponsor here at the Queen Creek Olive Mill. What we decided to throw in the base, I forgot to add, of course, one of our favorite things is olive oil. We need to have that in with our green beans, and of course, it's nice to, we call it lubricate. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Moisten.
Moisten. It's another
Sorry, Kelly.
equally as inappropriate word,
Okay.
but it's very good. But we've added this nice one in here. We got a good robust olive oil, and boy, things go off the rails as soon as the camera comes back on. Always nice. Alcohol and people and good food and things are happening.
Rimming and moistening.
Rimming, moistening, and lubricating.
All the things.
All the words, all the things that you typically don't find in a cooking show.
And you said
How you cooking?
what temperature do you cook at?
So yeah, now to bring it back to reality, thank you very much. Waiting for you to be the same one, Tim. Thanks for reeling us back in. So I actually have this on just above low, so a medium, low medium sort of a setting there. What you're looking for is an internal temperature at 135, 140 degrees. And as all these have pulled off of here, we're getting about 142 to 145 on all of these. Just have been checking them each as they're coming out. So, a medium rare steak is fine. A medium rare pork, not so much. Not your friend. You can play games. There's no such thing as pork sushi. Not going to work out well for anybody. 100% of the time, it's bad news. So, a lot like eating that gas station tuna sandwich. Not going to work out ever. In case you're wondering, no. Quit. So 30 seconds left. Looking a nice golden brown. Everybody smell these things? Smells good. We can talk about ways to spice this up a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how these things are turning out. Got to be adventurous. So what we're doing is a part of the series this year, as we're going to be doing a lot of international dishes. I'm going to approach things just, I'm really curious about how a lot of foods are made, and I'm always learning every single day. But what I'm trying to do is to take a lot of traditional dishes from around the world and turn them into a keto version, and seeing how we can make those things happen. So these things are ready to come off, so the timer says.
Smells great.
Look at the color.
I don't get that at home.
Say, mine doesn't turn out like that.
Trial and error. I've had a lot of error, believe me, before. But we always do a test run of our recipes. Work,
You have to sample everything.
You do.
It's really hard on me. Really hard.
I would hate that.
On our weekends, especially when we're doing more than one recipe, I have to come home, and then my wife says, "What are we having for dinner?" 6 different meals. I'm cramming for a test is what I'm doing. So we're having.
Isn't the gorilla cook?
Right, what is the question? We're having pancakes, Chinese. We're having, we're doing everything together all at once. We're gonna do a steak to who knows what. Yeah. We're having pancakes and hummus tonight. It's what we gotta do. Falafel and cheesecake. It's a nice combination. So we're looking really good. Good temperature.
I haven't tried it.
All right. So we're gonna start plating. How does that sound?
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna start with mine.
Closed mouth never gets fed. You gotta ask for things. I'll start and we'll go this way. How's that sound?
I guess.
I like that.
Sounds like you want to stay married.
I do. I
But to who?
Oh, look at that.
I was thinking
Wow.
every other.
That is
do.
gorgeous.
There we go. Grab these.
Oh my
Right,
gosh.
John?
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a handy dandy tool that I use actually. Once again,
Use like saran wrap or something, or how do you?
no parchment paper,
Parchment.
and then
Oh, we've
use
got
this.
that tool.
That's
Yeah, this is great to
That
break
looks
ice,
great.
discipline children, whatever you need. This is a fantastic. No, I'm kidding. You just chase them around with this and go, "You will do your own." And then we're like,
so next time I can borrow that, right?
yes, whatever you and Dave want to get into. Just do me a favor and don't return it.
That's yours. It's a gift.
That's it. Yeah. Any moment you need
How
that.
do you set this up? We've done this before. Now, Sally, do you think that is?
After a certain years of marriage, there are no safety words. You said your last safety word, which was "I do."
Yeah. And yours is yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Fresh ones are a little bit hard to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
They get the right texture out of them.
These
Can
are
you
pre-moistened.
Hold that thought right
Maybe
there.
there's
Yeah.
frozen ones.
One,
Oh, God, look at that.
Thank you, sir.
We'll get this one into the prep zone, Dave.
There you go, looking good.
Perfect.
That looks nice.
That's good still.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
All right,
Is
we'll
that
grab
put on
these.
the plate?
Yep. We'll grab these.
Oh my gosh. You can smell the
Yeah.
flavors of the
It's like
bacons.
We want to throw a little more green bean action here.
This must be yours.
No,
It's the picture plate.
it's colorful.
Oh, it's for the picture.
Picture.
It's the World Wide Web plate.
Right, internet family, your dinner coming at you here in just a minute. Right there. All right. There we go, Sally. Fantastic.
All right.
And
Dig in.
dig in. Here you go.
Take this. Do you want to take place?
Yeah.
I waiting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
It's moist, it's crunchy. and
Works
very
out well for
flavorful.
everybody.
Wow.
Great texture, yeah.
Thank you.
You want to take it real quick?
And a plethora of flavors.
How's that plethora of flavors working out for you there, Tim?
Wonderful.
Yum.
Wow.
And it's tender enough to cut with a fork, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or at the very least, the butter.
Green beans are just like German potato salad, only green beans.
Right?
Nice flavor.
We love it. So, do we taste the different flavors? We got the cheese. We can definitely taste that.
Yep.
We've got that in there. Can you taste any of the smoked paprika at all? What I'm wondering in the breading.
I think so.
Yeah. Nice
Nice.
and crisp. Very good.
Nice and crunchy. So we love the bacon flavor. We've got that knocked out. We've got our olive oil in there. You taste a little bit of garlic, but it's not overwhelming. Typically, a lot of my dishes are very garlic heavy because that's where I live in that space.
Mustard, the touch of mustard?
Yeah. So that is the question. Does the mustard
Yeah.
come through with
Yeah.
with the schnitzel? Perfect.
Vinegar.
A little bit of vinegar.
Yeah.
Green beans,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
It
Nice.
definitely has the sweet sour German flavor, like you were saying, for sure.
This is
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Really good.
That's great.
I thought about using it for green beans. That's really neat.
Right? I was really kind of interested. I don't typically use red wine vinegar for things, and the recipe called for it, and I like the smell of red wine vinegar. I don't really think of the only time I think I've messed around with red wine vinegar is Easter. Maybe for dyeing Easter eggs or something. You get a lot of vinegar for that sort of thing. But I don't typically use this in a lot of my dishes. But I think that it's going to make its way into some other
Nice.
things.
Yeah.
Good cut through the flavor.
Right. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for being here for another wonderful episode of the Gorilla's Kitchen. Taking a little international flavor here today, and the new cocktail, new food, new flavors. We're excited to come to you guys every single Thursday, and of course, want to give a special thanks to our sponsors once again, the Twin Creek Olive Mill and Oso Brewery and Distillery, and to someone who's not our sponsor, but we've become a fan of yours, and I won't try to pronounce the name, but Asbach Brandy Sour, perhaps. Brandy, we like that. And we'll be here next Thursday for you guys with another exciting episode. Stay tuned for more great things. Be sure to click subscribe. And hey, up here, there's an episode waiting for you in just a minute that's just for you. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for being here, guys.